Hi, this is Amy Mahali with Be Well Clinic, and today I'm going to show you how to take a big chunk of meat and cut it into manageable pieces that you can use to feed yourself and your family from your freezer. The goal of this would to show you not the exact cuts or what all the muscles or cuts are, but to give you an idea that you can, on your counter with knives and a cutting board, do a packaging so that you can have meals for your family from a leg, quarter, or even half of an animal that you might get from a farmer or a hunter, or that you hunt yourself or raise yourself. So we're going to go through that basic steps. Hope that you learned stuff, and let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is take off any of this really membranous fiber or connective tissue that's on top. So what's really nice about this is it actually allows us to, there's dirt on here because this was put in the dirt. We did have it in a game bag to have it clean. This is the front quarter of an elk, by the way. But this membrane, taking this off, is going to actually allow us to have that dirt be gone. So that's super helpful. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take some of this membrane, and this is called silver skin, off of this so we can see the major muscle groups. Always make sure your knife's away from you. And make sure your knife is sharp. So what we're doing is finding major muscle groups that are separated by these membranes, and then we're cutting them apart. This one, I can feel it with my finger, following it, and taking it off. Now I'm going to flip it over, so as the front quarter, this is the shoulder blade or the scapula. So I'm going to clean the meat off of this. Just kind of filleting the scapula, if you will. And a lot of the front quarter people will use to grind up for hamburger. And then there's going to be some bigger cuts that we can turn into steaks. Do the same thing on this side. There's a ridge right here. You can see it all the way. So I'm gonna get steaks on each side of this. So I'm gonna cut right down that ridge to separate the shoulder blade off. I'm just cutting out this muscle group. Here, you can see the lines of those. Come all the way around and decide to end my cut there. Now, this may not be the proper butcher cut, but it's going to be helpful. There we have. So now we're going to take a cutting board and finish cleaning this up. So I'm going to get the rest of that silver skin off. back, finish it off. Now I'm gonna cut steaks. So I can cut small steaks, just little fillets, or I can cut them thicker and do what's called a butterfly. So you cut halfway, cut a bigger steak, cut halfway through. And we've got a nice larger steak. Once I get to the end of the steaks, I'll cut this into stew meat. Going through there. So I'm gonna go ahead now and cut off another piece of meat. So here I've got some more membranous, dirty stuff. Take off. On that ridge again, we're going to just cut on the other side of it. Here's your shoulder joint. Okay, there's another big piece of muscle. So this one, I'm just gonna save as a roast. I'm just gonna freeze it whole like this, put it in a freezer bag, and I will either save it as a roast, or when I'm ready for it, I may decide to cut steaks in it, but I won't do all that work right now. So this saves me time right now, and it's really only a few minutes to do later. All right, now let's finish getting the shoulder blade detached, because that'll give us more room to work with. So really, I watched some videos. There are some great videos. This is one of them. But I just got my hands dirty and just started cutting. Just separating, cutting off the bone, and figured it out. You can do it too. There's another big muscle meat. We'll figure out what to do with in a second. I'm using my pressure to pull the meat away from the bone. It helps me to cut well, and helps me to kind of know where I'm cutting or what I'm cutting. So this piece right here is just a thing. It's good meat, but it'll probably go in the grind to be turned into hamburger or elk burger. And take the rest of the big ones off for you. You're getting the idea. This muscle just under the front knee joint. There's a lot more connective tissue in these. So you can grind them for sure. You may want to do other things with them as well. And then in a minute, we'll just have meat to clean off the bone that will just get ground up, and then we'll have the shanks to do in a second. So there's that piece. These are really fun little tiny steaks, but pretty quick you'll get a membrane in the middle of them. So. At this point, I'm just cleaning off any big chunks of meat that are left on the bone. And I will go back and clear all this out just to grind it or to give it to my dog. And then the last thing is the shank joint. So this can make a really delicious roast or stew. So we're just gonna clean it up here. Just gonna clean it up here and get the joint off, right? So there's the joint. So we need to get into it. Don't need a bone saw or anything. We're just gonna cut the tendons and the muscle that's holding it. Be definitely careful with your fingers at this. Haha, victory. Here's the shank. We got it out. That took a bit, and that's why this joint is not flat. It's a very weird joint, but there's a lot of connective tissue, gelatin in here. So if you make stock with this, it may be a little strong of a flavor for you. If you make stock with this, we have tons of connective tissue, tons of ligaments with lots of collagen, the joint, the muscle, and even some exposure to marrow bone here. So this is going to be a really rich soup if you're able to do it. I'm going to probably do it as a soup, but put it with something like my Egyptian lentil soup that has a lot of spice in it. All right, so let's get to some freezing. You've got the idea. I'm gonna keep finishing this up, cutting it up, but let me show you how I put it in freezer bags, and then you can do this at home next. Okay, so when you're storing your meat, we want to make sure that we're storing it in portion sizes that you would use. This is gonna take some experimentation, but here's some ideas for you. I like the food saver bags. This one's a really big one. I'm gonna put the whole shank in here. I think it will fit. This smaller one is gonna be for like 3 or 4 steaks, which I would pull out for dinner. So you wanna grab your bags, seal the one end, fill them up, vacuum seal them, weigh them, mark them. So we're just gonna do that really quick so you can see the whole process. Sealed. Wait if you need to. Into the freezer. That is a 2-ounce steak, or 2-pound steak. There we go. And these go in the freezer. All right, so hopefully that helped you learn how to take a big hunk of meat. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I have learned what size I work with for me and my family, and you'll work on yours and your family, how big your packages are. But you can take this hunk of meat, you get it cut off the bone, you don't waste anything. I put the extra out for the birds, get it in packages. Now it just looks kind of like from the store, and now you can eat your bulk meat, really bulk meat, that you processed yourself. Have fun.